Before I get into this video, I just want to remind you that LGSs are also impacted by these things. So one of the things that has been happening is that new sets for Magic the Gathering are being released like every month, and then obviously you have this, and D&D has grown more and more popular because of Netflix and Critical Role, and obviously that's one of the reasons why Wizards wanted to monetize creators further. But LGS has put a lot of capital into getting these products for you. They sometimes even host events for free. Now, I say this as a new LGS owner. It was not easy to get our store up and running, and it is not easy to make sure that we have all of the correct products when it's needed for people to buy, and we have to have the capital for those products first. So all I'm saying is obviously unsubscribe to D&D Beyond, because that actually hits Wizards of the Coast without really any middleman. However, just remember that your LGS works for you, and please, please, please support them in any way possible, even if it's just going to their events, purchasing different items other than, Wizards of the Coast manufactured items. Give them a donation. I don't know. Just make sure that you support your LGS, because they are here for you, they're fighting for you, and they also need to survive, and this isn't their fault. So let's get into the video on the leaked response to the community backlash.
Ladies and gentlemen, in case you missed the apocalypse happening outside, I'm here to tell you to buckle up. It's getting worse. Over the last 24 hours, we've had leaks from WoTC's own employees, a huge exodus from D&D Beyond, and most importantly, I have right here WoTC's own leaked response to the drop. Yes, this is the response, the document they were supposed to release yesterday. And
So it's actually funny because they didn't do their stream yesterday as well, and one of the things that I think is absolutely incredible are the amount of people that are brave enough to actually talk about these things, to actually have these leaks be present, to speak out against it, to lawyers who are looking at these documents and making sure that things are okay for creators to update people on for news, because you want to be able to separate the actual news from the lies that you're getting. And one of the things that I really loved is there are certain people who have not said whether or not they're going to stick with WoTC at all. Like, Critical Role still hasn't put out a statement, and there are some people that haven't. One thing that I thought was incredible is Felicia Day actually put out tweets that were like, you guys need to support opendnd, you need to unsubscribe from D&D Beyond. And to me, that was just really cool, because it's someone who's known for these things, and obviously it affects her, but considering other people still haven't made a statement, I thought it was really neat that she actually came out and said, guys, support these people.
Spoilers, it's terrible. It's a mixture of straight-up lies, gaslighting, and incredible arrogance on the part of Wizards of the Coast. It's presented in the form of an FAQ, and I've been advised by lawyers, shout out to Noah Downs, to not show the entire document, as it might have some subtle language that can trace it back to the source of the leak. So we're going with lawyer-approved screenshots. Okay, let's break it down. So the document begins with some generic information about the OGL. I know you already know what that means. But less than 3 paragraphs in, the FAQ starts hitting us with the bollocks. Can I keep using OGL 1A to develop 5th edition content? No. OGL 1A only allows creators to use authorized versions of the OGL, which allows Wizards to determine which of its prior version to continue to allow blah 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 blah. Basically, this is them doubling down and saying, we are doing this, and legally, we can do this. Except legally, they almost certainly can't. And as Paizo and many other big D&D creators have said, they're ready to go to court on this. This is a lie from WoTC. They want to convince you that legally, they are in the right. They know that morally, they can't be in the right, but they want people to shrug their shoulders and say, gee.
That's the other thing, too, is a lot of people, like Paizo was incredible for this. They released everything that they were talking about with taking people and protecting them legally and doing what they could with, their OGL, and it was incredible. And they're also like, because they know that people are going to be turning to them, because regardless of how Wizards of the Coast tries to fix this, if at all, it already puts a bad taste in people's mouths, and they're already looking toward Pathfinder anyway. And one of the things that's funny is, again, I mentioned that Critical Role hasn't made a statement yet, but they initially were supposed to play Pathfinder, and then they played D&D instead because it was supposed to be the more popular tabletop format. And then you have all of these shows that have D&D in them. I mean, a big shout out to Stranger Things for those of you who watched that really got, gave a breath of fresh air and life into D&D again, and made it even more mainstream, which is really cool. And I don't know, like, just big props to Paizo for doing that. Seriously. My husband is a big Pathfinder fan, so.
Well, that's capitalism, what can you do? But it's not true. This will go to court, an argument in equity will be made, and the independent creators will win. Paizo, MCDM, Kobold Press, and all the lawyers I've spoken to are all in agreement on this. WoTC wants to scare off small creators, while convincing legally illiterate morons like myself that they can do this. But if you thought that was a lie, honey, sit down. There's bullshit in this document that will knock your socks off. Here's a fun one. We are including a 6-month grace period that gives creators the same benefits of the original OGL license. So originally, they were giving creators 1 week to sign the new document or they were out of business. Now that's been extended to 6 months, but here's the trick. This is a clause of this 2.0 agreement, which means you have to sign the agreement to get the 6-month grace period. And once you've signed, they've got you. This is a trap. It's a trick to get desperate creators to sign up so they can juice their numbers and make it look like it's more popular than it is. Oh, but hold up, here's one of my favorite lies. Who owns the content I create using the OGL 2.0? You own the new and original content you create, and Wizards doesn't get to copy or use it without your permission. I love how they
Except that they're trying to get you your permission by having you sign the OGL. That's like the OGL originally, for the rewrite that they were trying to do for this new OGL, the 1.1 or 2.0 or whatever the heck they wanted to call it, was that you were pretty much signing over your rights to these things to be able to use their characters or creatures or rule set or whatever, and you were signing over your creative liberties to them.
Underlined this, like, hey, we're really serious. We don't get to use your stuff without your permission. Except you do, Wizards. It's in the contract you sent creators to sign. Quote, you agree to give us a non-exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, sub-licensable, royalty-free license to use that content for any purpose. This statement is Wizards'
I think I just got hypnotized.
Careful language. Sure, you own your content, and we can't use it without your permission. But by signing the OGL contract that was leaked last week, you gave them permission. So yes, this contract very much clearly gives Wizards the ability to steal your content. It's like, how dumb do you think the audience is? Who's seeing this underlined text and thinking, oh geez, they must be really serious. I guess they're not gonna steal stuff now. We all saw the contract you tried to force on creators, Wizards. You can't frame this as one big misunderstanding. But it gets worse. Why is WoTC charging royalties now? There are 2 answers to this question, and they are both bafflingly stupid. Like, I'm not even angry, I'm just amazed that someone wrote this down. Nonsense answer number 1.
That's kind of why I'm laughing at this, because it's like his delivery is incredible, but at the same time, it's like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Honestly.
Can't leave the door open for a mega company's projects to exploit our IP with no checks and balances. Oh, damn. That's actually a really good answer. Oh wait, no it's not. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The question is, why are you charging royalties? And the answer they gave is, we don't want creators making things we don't like. But that's nothing to do with money. That's to do with censorship. It's got nothing to do with the question. Also, by the way, Wizards of the Coast, you are the mega company here. Don't hit us with this eat the rich crap. You're $1 billion company. If anyone here is getting eaten, it's you. Second nonsense answer. If you're making a lot of money on your D&D content, we want to talk and grow together. Ooh,
no, they don't. They want your money.
Isn't it, Wizards? Let me just go into Photoshop and fix that one for you. There we go. Much better. Both of the answers this document gives to the royalties question are lies. The truth is, Wizards doesn't really care about the 20 to 25% on some companies. They don't care about that small amount of money. They care about bleeding these companies that are making this amazing D&D content, which makes their content look terrible. Then there's this section.
It's actually like, it's not used here, but one of the big things that I thought was incredible was shout out to XP to Level 3. They, did their Kickstarter and everything that they did for the Questonomicon, and literally had an unboxing just a little bit ago, and all of this happens, and it's just like, poor things. Literally right after getting that, it's like, oh my god.
Which is just boring questions, which I'm sure nobody actually asked. It's just here to pad this document out and hopefully bore people out of reading all the way to the end. But bad luck, Wizards, I did read all the way to the end. And now we get to the juicy stuff. Leaks. Why is some of this information different from the leaked drafts I've heard about? Well, let's see how long it takes them to lie in answering this question. Firstly, the leaked documents were drafts. Bullshit! This is the biggest piece of disinformation that WoTC are hammering right now. The OGL 1.1 was not a draft. This was a finished document that was sent out to creators with a contract attached for them to sign. You don't send out legally binding contracts with a freaking draft. No, they tried to force this disgusting document through, and now they're desperately backpedaling. Again, WoTC, your community are not idiots. I can't believe they actually tried to pull this. Then the document goes on to explain—
I think it's even funnier because it's like, just think about it this way. Your community puts campaigns together for problem solving. Oh, God.
Explain what a draft is. I've got no idea why. It's got nothing to do with anything. But then we get to my favorite bit of all. Bottom line, we're listening and learning, and we'll continue doing that. Not because loud voices made us, but because—
Yes, they did.
Because it's what we always planned to do. This is a pathetic attempt by WoTC to save face and minimize the community backlash. The higher-ups at WoTC must have the biggest small dick syndrome pathetic ego ever. They simply can't admit that the entire community has come together as one proud voice. Oh, no. This isn't the community speaking out. This is just a few loud voices stirring up trouble. Let's talk about loud voices, WoTC, because the loudest voice of all came from your own company. I received an email from a worker at dndbegone and Wizards of the Coast, who I and multiple other sources have confirmed to be legit, giving their take on the situation. You can pause and read the whole email if you want. At the time of recording, 8 hours after I tweeted it, it had 1.3 million impressions on Twitter. It was trending on Reddit. It was on the front page of every D&D subreddit, and it exposed WoTC for the terrible company that they are. Basically, it says the following. 1. WoTC are delaying the rollout of the OGL 2.0 because of this backlash.
Yep.
2. Their decision-making is based entirely on their bottom line.
Exactly.
They don't care about what you think. They only want your money. 3. They are specifically looking at D&D Beyond subscriptions, as this is the quickest financial data they have. 4. They're hoping that if they stall long enough, we'll just forget about the whole thing. But then here comes the real scoop. The employee goes on to say, I have never once heard management refer to customers in a positive manner. Their communication gives me the impression they see customers as obstacles between them and their money.
This is one of the things I was talking about. And again, the portion of the plan where it's mentioned that they're specifically looking at D&D Beyond subscriptions, especially because of the rollout of the way that they were talking about 1D&D. I'm actually not surprised about the change because of 1D&D. It kind of follows suit. It makes sense for the way that they were speaking about it. And I cannot stress enough, please still support your LGSs in any way possible. Because if you've decided that you've finally done with WoTC and that it's a shit company, that's fine. But your LGS, for the most part, not shit people.
You are just a wallet to Wizards of the Coast. Your legal rights, your feelings on the future of the game, these are just obstacles between them and the money that they rightfully deserve that at the moment is in your pocket. They can just lie again and again through this FAQ response. The truth doesn't matter. You don't matter. The only thing that matters is your money. They're trying to downplay this backlash as just a few loud voices, but it's not. They don't seem to understand that influencer voices are only loud because we're part of a strong, united community. There aren't just a few loud voices. There is one voice. It's the voice of the entire D&D community united, and it's telling you, wizards, to fuck off. This community made you, not the other way around. You hate us, that's obvious, but if the only thing you understand is money, then that's the place the community has decided to strike back. Everyone is cancelling their D&D Beyond subscriptions. The community is doing this because it's the only way Wizards of the Coast will listen. Wizards, if you thought the community were obstacles to your money before, then holy hell, you are not going to like what they're doing now. I just want to point out that if you want to cancel but you've paid for a year, if you cancel now, you'll still have access for that full year. It just won't auto-renew. So yeah, still no official response from WoTC, but we got this leaked draft, and that's the final point. The fact that we got this proves there is an internal war going on at Wizards of the Coast. These leaks from Wizards' own staff show that the little people are trying to fight back against their bosses. Mostly, the people at Wizards of the Coast are on our side. The company is literally tearing itself apart, and we need to keep up the pressure. That means Twitter, Reddit, sharing videos, talking to your friends in real life, and most importantly, cancelling your D&D Beyond subscription. The trending hashtags are opendnd, stop the sub, and dndbegone.
So make sure that you do your part as well if you're watching this video, and thank you so much for hanging out. Check the links in the description. I will have tags for the correct video if you guys want to watch that without my response. I'll have tags to check out links for people's Twitter posts and a lot more. Thank you guys. I'll see you at the next one.